So how do some companies just consistently, outperform their rivals? How do they manage to carve out that real edge in what feels like such a competitive market these days?
It's a great question. It often comes down to focus.
Right, like that old saying, a person who chases two rabbits catches neither.
Exactly. That really applies in business strategy. Trying to be everything often means you end up being great at nothing.
Which is why today we're doing a deep dive into this whole idea, specifically looking at Michael Porter's foundational competitive strategies.
hmm Cost leadership and differentiation.
Yeah, we'll explore what they are, and crucially for you listening, why understanding them is so vital, especially if you're working in, say, cost accounting.
Absolutely essential for context.
Yeah, but before we really get into the weeds, a quick reminder. This deep dive is based on material from Farhat lectures. All the content, the examples, the explanations we're discussing today, it's all derived from the comprehensive accounting resources over at farhatlectures.com.
Great stuff over there.
Definitely. So whether you're an accounting student, maybe studying for the CPA exam, or already a professional, you should visit the website for extra practice, video lectures, and, detailed support to really nail down today's topic.
Yeah, it's a fantastic resource.
And a special thanks to Professor Farhat for providing this valuable material for our discussion.
Agreed.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Strategic focus, competitive advantage. First off, who exactly is Michael Porter? And what are these two big strategies he's famous for?
Right. So Michael Porter, he's a U.S.-based academic, really a giant in the field of competitive strategy. His work fundamentally changed how businesses think about competing. And his core idea boils down to two primary competitive strategies: cost leadership
Okay.
and differentiation. Now, what's interesting and important to remember is that while companies usually lean heavily one way or the other, no company is like 100% purely one or the other. It's really about their strategic emphasis. Where do they put their main effort to win?
I see. So not black and white, more shades of gray, but with a definite lean. That makes sense. Let's start with cost leadership then. What does that actually mean for a company to be a cost leader? Sounds simple, maybe?
It sounds simple, but executing it is incredibly tough. Basically, the goal for a cost leader is to outperform competitors by producing their goods or services at the absolute lowest possible cost.
Lowest cost. Okay. Does that mean like cheap products, low quality?
Not necessarily, and that's a key distinction. It's not about low quality per se. It's about delivering the quality that customers demand for that market segment, but doing it at the lowest sustainable cost. It requires extreme efficiency, ruthless cost control, squeezing out every bit of waste.
Right. So efficiency is the name of the game.
Exactly. From a management accounting angle, you often see an intense focus on things like target costing here.
Explain that a bit.
Sure. Target costing is where you figure out the price the market will bear, then you work backwards to determine what your production cost has to be. Then you engineer everything to hit that target.
Okay. Lowest sustainable cost for the required quality. That's a clearer picture. Can you give us an example, a company that really embodies this?
Oh, absolutely. Amazon is a prime example of this extreme focus. They are legendary for trying to save every single penny.
How so?
Well, there's this well-known, maybe slightly controversial story about their warehouses. Employees leaving their shift often go through these extensive security checks, kind of like airport security. It can take up to 30 minutes sometimes.
Wow. Okay.
And the kicker, often they aren't paid for that waiting time.
Seriously, why would they do that?
Because Amazon is so committed to preventing even minor theft, they don't want to lose a single item, a single penny to shrinkage. It just shows this unwavering commitment to cost efficiency everywhere.
That unpaid security check.
Yeah,
That really hammers home the point. It's relentless.
it is. And for the accountants inside Amazon, this means meticulously tracking everything. Maybe using tools like activity-based costing or ABC
Right, ABC costing.
to pinpoint and just eliminate any activity that doesn't add value, no matter how small it seems. Every penny counts.
Okay, Amazon's a big one. Any other examples, maybe in a different industry?
Southwest Airlines is another classic example. They achieve cost leadership through some really smart, specific practices.
Like, well, I fly Southwest sometimes. They seem efficient.
They are. One big thing is fuel hedging.
Fuel hedging.
Yeah. They basically buy contracts for fuel way in advance, locking in prices. So they're like buying tomorrow's gas at today's fixed price.
Ah, so they avoid those huge spikes in fuel costs that kill other airlines.
Exactly. It gives them predictable expenses where others face massive volatility. That flows right to the bottom line. For their accountants, this makes things like variance analysis for fuel much simpler, much more predictable.
Smart. What else?
Their fleet, it's standardized. They almost exclusively fly one type of plane, the Boeing 737.
I did notice that. Why just one type?
Think about it. Your mechanics become absolute experts on that one plane. Maintenance gets cheaper and faster. You need fewer types of spare parts in inventory. Pilot training is simpler. It streamlines everything.
Operational simplicity leading to lower costs.
Precisely. That standardization directly impacts their maintenance cost per hour, reduces training overhead. It creates this really lean, efficient machine. They also focus on happy employees, which contributes to efficiency too, but the fleet is a big structural advantage.
That's fascinating. It really shows how deep this cost leadership strategy goes. It's not just surface level stuff. So if that's cost leadership, relentless efficiency, what's the alternative? Differentiation. You said that's where it gets really interesting. Why?
Well, differentiation is kind of the flip side. It's all about creating unique value for the customer, something that makes your product or service stand out.
Unique value. Like better features?
That could be product innovation, yes. Distinctive features, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it could also be superior customer service or even just the perception of these unique qualities, the brand image itself.
Perception. So it doesn't even have to be tangibly better sometimes.
Sometimes the perception, carefully cultivated, is enough. The goal is to make the offering stand out in a way that customers are willing to pay more for it, a premium price.
Okay, so you're not competing on price anymore. You're competing on uniqueness.
Exactly. And for the management accountants working in a company like this, the focus shifts dramatically. It's less about slashing costs everywhere and more about justifying the investments that create and communicate that unique value. You're trying to show the return on adding that premium feature or funding that big marketing campaign.
Right, proving the value add. Give us an example of a master differentiator.
Well, the classic example is Apple, particularly with the iPhone. Think about it. Contrast an iPhone with a, basic flip phone or even many other high-end smartphones. Apple consistently differentiates through design, user experience, the ecosystem.
The ecosystem's huge.
It is. Even if other phones technically have similar specs on paper, Apple positions the iPhone as superior in design, ease of use, maybe perceived security, those cutting-edge features. And this allows them to charge those premium prices. Why? Because customers perceive significant added value. They feel they're getting an unparalleled experience.
And the accountants there must be busy tracking R&D then.
Absolutely. Tracking the return on innovation is key. They might use sophisticated capital budgeting techniques for R&D projects, or maybe detailed lifecycle costing to demonstrate the long-term value generated by these premium products, justifying the higher development and marketing costs. It's not just about the immediate production cost.
Okay, Apple makes sense. Another one. Maybe one based more on that perception idea.
Nike is a great example of leveraging perception.
Nike, yeah. How so?
Think about their shoes or apparel. Other brands might offer products with very similar functional quality, maybe even using similar materials. But Nike has masterfully built this perception of being superior, high performance, cutting edge. Their brand image, the swoosh, their connection with top athletes, it's powerful.
The just do it factor.
Exactly. Customers are often paying a premium for the brand, the design, the feeling they get wearing Nike, what it represents, not just the raw materials or the basic function of the shoe.
So the perceived value is driven by marketing and brand association.
Largely, yes. Which means for Nike, marketing spend, athlete endorsements, constant design innovation, these aren't just costs, they are critical investments. An accountant there needs to evaluate how these contribute to brand equity and pricing power, not just look at the direct, immediate sales return.
It's funny you mentioned shoes. I have a friend who swears by one specific expensive running shoe model. They insist they feel faster in them, even if they cost double. Is that kind of what you mean?
That is precisely it. It's that feeling, that belief, that unique connection or perceived benefit that drives the willingness to pay that premium. That's the power of successful differentiation.
Got it. Okay, so we have cost leadership be the most efficient, and differentiation be unique or perceived as unique. How do these really play out differently in terms of, say, who they're trying to sell to or what their product line looks like?
They diverge quite significantly across the board. Let's break it down. First, their strategic target. Who are they aiming for? A cost leader? Think of that basic flip phone maker again, or maybe a generic store brand. They typically aim for a broad section of the market, as many customers as possible, often globally. Price is the main draw.
So to everyone.
Pretty much. Whereas a differentiator, like Apple with the iPhone or maybe a luxury car brand, targets a more specific segment. People who value the unique features and are willing and able to pay that $1,000 plus price tag or much more.
Makes sense. What about the basis of their advantage?
For the cost leader, it's simple, pure cost. They win because they're cheaper.
Price fighters.
Right. For the differentiator, the advantage comes from that unique product or service. Or, as we discussed, sometimes just the perception of uniqueness. That feeling your friend gets from their running shoes, that's the leverage.
Okay. Target market, basis of advantage. What about their product line?
It reflects the strategy, too. A cost leader usually offers a limited selection. Think essential features, maybe fewer bells and whistles, standardization to keep costs down. Simple, functional.
Basic. Does the job.
Exactly. A differentiator, on the other hand, often has a wide variety of products, lots of features, different specifications. There's a constant emphasis on innovation to keep things fresh and uniquely appealing. More choice, more customization, perhaps.
Always something new coming out.
Often, yes. Finally, look at their product and marketing emphasis. Cost leaders focus, obviously, on the lowest possible cost. Their marketing shouts, value for money, great deal, affordable.
Everyday low prices.
Perfect example, differentiators. They emphasize innovation, premium features, quality, design, status maybe. Their marketing often justifies the higher price. The message is, you get what you pay for. It's about the added value being worth the cost.
So, completely different approaches from top to bottom.
Fundamentally different ways of competing.
Which brings up a really important question, especially for our listeners probably crunching numbers right now. Why does someone studying or working in cost accounting need to understand this high-level business strategy? Isn't that for the CEOs?
But it's absolutely crucial. It's not just theory. It has direct practical relevance every single day for a management accountant.
How so?
Because understanding whether your company is primarily pursuing cost leadership or differentiation is fundamental to doing your job effectively. It shapes how you devise plans, how you measure performance, and how you help management actually achieve its objectives.
Okay, give me an example. How does my job change?
All right. If your company is a cost leader, your whole world revolves around efficiency. You're intensely scrutinizing efficiency metrics. You're pushing cost controls. You're identifying every area for potential savings. You're probably deep into variance analysis, figuring out why costs went over budget even by a tiny bit, and helping fix it fast. You are a key part of making those lean operations work. Your focus is cost reduction.
Okay, relentless cost focus. What if my company is a differentiator?
Then your focus shifts dramatically. It's less about just cutting costs and more about evaluating the value drivers. You're assessing the cost of innovation. Is this R&D project worth it? What's the likely return on investing in premium customer service? How do these expenses contribute to the perceived value that lets us charge more?
So, justifying the spend, not just cutting it.
Exactly. You might be tracking non-financial metrics much more closely, things like customer satisfaction scores, brand loyalty metrics, net promoter score, because those are what ultimately drive revenue and profit in a differentiation strategy. You're helping prove the worth of the spending that creates uniqueness.
That's a really powerful distinction. Your entire lens, the way you look at the numbers, has to change based on the company's core strategy.
It absolutely has to.
And this brings us right back to that chasing two rabbits idea, doesn't it?
It really does. A company generally cannot be the absolute cheapest and offer the most unique, feature-rich products simultaneously. Trying to do both usually leads to being stuck in the middle, not cheap enough, not special enough. You lose focus.
And competitive advantage slips away.
Precisely. The chosen strategy, cost leadership or differentiation, dictates everything. Operational decisions, resource allocation, the whole framework for planning and budgeting. If management accountants don't understand the strategic context, their efforts might actually hinder the company. Imagine trying to aggressively cut costs on a key feature that defines a differentiated product. You might save money short term.
But destroy the very reason customers were paying a premium in the first place.
You got it. Undermining the core strategy. So understanding that strategic choice is job number one.
Wow. Okay. So whether it's that relentless drive for efficiency or the careful cultivation of something truly unique and valuable, the power of focus and competitive strategy is undeniable. It's about knowing who you are as a business, picking your battle, and aligning everything you do to win that specific fight.
Well said. That's the essence of Porter's framework.
So something for you to think about as you go about your day. Consider the companies you interact with, your phone provider, your grocery store, the car you drive, the coffee shop you visit. Which strategy do they seem to be using?
Are they screaming lowest price or whispering premium experience?
And how does that choice impact you as a customer? Maybe even as an employee, if you work there. How does it shape your experience? And drilling down, if you are in accounting or finance, think about how these principles directly apply to the numbers you look at, the budgets you help prepare, the performance you measure.
Understanding this strategic layer isn't just academic theory.
No, it seems like it's really the core of how you, as an accounting professional, can genuinely drive value and help your company succeed, whichever path it's chosen.